believe we're good to go now, Mayor O'Brien.
Are we good to go? All right. We'll call the meeting to order then. Welcome to the regular City Council meeting of May the 11th, and welcome to those that are watching via Rogers Cable and whatever technologies that's making that possible. We'll begin with a poem from our poet laureate, Jenna Lynn Albert.
Thank you so much, Your Worship. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and I chose a poem that I had written from my collection about my mother. It's been a very different Mother's Day. Some of us were fortunate enough to be able to see our mothers or grandmothers, but with COVID-19, we have, for many of us, had to celebrate from a distance. And for my family, it was our first Mother's Day without my nanny. So I'd like to dedicate this poem this evening to Rosalind Denton, and the poem's called Weeds. The time my mother asked me to help her weed the front garden, I got into an anthill without gardening gloves, and a big black emmet bit into me real good, drawing blood. And I didn't cry until Mom pulled on the bug and wound up yanking its butt end off, and even bifurcated, the thing squirmed, mandibles unrelenting. The times we'd fall asleep sitting up, propped against the gaudy 1980s couch with its pastel florals and armrest covers. The time I wanted a refund when my new little brother turned out to be a sister and wouldn't stop bawling like a little brat. I got grounded for that one. The time I tested her love of butter with a dandelion by accident, and she showed me how to suck nectar from red clover florets, us stealing weeds from the backyard before Dad could get them with the John Deere. The time my sister and I got head lice from school and Mom combed through hair slick with tea tree oil with the precision of a surgeon until the second time around, and she took us for haircuts. It will grow back fast. Your hair's a weed. The time my mother stopped coloring her hair and it grew out platinum and she somehow looked younger. The time she got dizzy spells and went for blood tests. Type 2 diabetes. And every time she pricks her finger to test her sugars, I think of the ant's puncture marks on my finger. The time my mother looked frail for the first time, cat napping on her lap in the sunroom, early spring after a glucose crash. We stopped snatching up the buttercups, lawnmower mulching grass with yellow petals and purple stems along with deer turd, the occasional trash scrap from the coons. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenna Lynn, and very appropriate. And a belated Mother's Day to, well, the mother on our council, the mother on our staff, or throughout our city, and the city residents. As us men like to think we have a major role in families in the community, and we do, but the women and the mothers are usually the backbone of the city, of families and our community. So happy Mother's Day +1 to every mother in our city that makes the city so great. The approval of agenda, City Clerk.
Thank you, Worship. We have two items to add, or one item to add and one item to remove. Removing item 5.2, the utility infrastructure acquisition and maintenance agreement on Ashley Crescent. We're going to remove that for this evening. And we're going to add item 5.7, the shared risk pension plan board of trustees appointment. Mike Baldwin.
Yeah, thank you very much. So that'll be moved by Councillor Price, seconded by Councillor Chase. And on the question, there being none, please cast your vote.
Just waiting for a couple of votes. It's carried unanimously.
Good, thank you. Is Councillor Malay with us tonight? He's
Yes.
remote, I think, but.
Yes, he is this evening.
Okay. Does anybody have a conflict of interest to declare on any of the items before us tonight? No, you don't. Good. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. There are 6 items, one removed, one added, and
Yes.
we'll put, we'll move it first, and then anybody can, there's been one item that been asked an explanation to be made on it. So we move by the deputy mayor and seconded by Councillor Dara that we adopt the consent agenda. But before we do, we were asked on item 5.6, on-demand contact center, digital solutions for customer service over the phone. If Mike Baldwin could give us a brief explanation for the public before we vote on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Your Worship. This on-demand contact center in support of Service Fredericton. That's our one-stop shop, 460-2020, that handles all the service requests and information requests for the city. We created that model so the citizens would have one spot to go. This new on-demand contact center will tie into our CRM system and integrate. It will offer the resident their language of choice when they phone in. It is flexible, as you know. Unfortunately, from time to time, floodwaters sometimes impact our operations at City Hall. This function will now be able to operate from anywhere. So it allows for flexibility and also real-time reporting in terms of the service requests and the information that the customer may have from past service requests.
Good, thank you, Mike. Any questions to Mike? No? So please cast your vote for the consent agenda. You're muted, City Clerk, but I think you were going to say it's, I think you were going to say it's passed unanimously.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. We'll move on to item 6.1, minutes of the regular City Council meetings of February 10th and February 24th. That'd be moved by Councillor Peters and seconded by Councillor Erickson on the question. There being none, please cast your vote.
It's carried unanimously.
Okay. Item 6.2, minutes of the special meetings of City Council of February 14th and February 17th. That be moved by Councillor Peters and seconded by Councillor Erickson on the question. Being none, please cast your vote.
It's carried unanimously.
Thank you. Item 7.1, bylaw number Z7, Union Street Secondary Plan. Councillor McGarity. And Councillor Price must remove himself from the meeting for these items. He was not present for first and second reading. So, Councillor McGarity.
Thank you. Be it resolved that bylaw number Z-7, a bylaw to adopt the Union Street Area Secondary Municipal Plan for the City of Fredericton be read by summary pursuant to Section 15, subsection 3 of the Local Governance Act.
That'd be seconded by Councillor Millet. On the question. Being none, please cast your vote.
That's carried unanimously.
Okay. Carry on, Councillor McGarity.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore be it enacted by the City Council, City of Fredericton, and pursuant to the authority vested in Section 10 of the Local Governance Act, SNB 217, Chapter 18, summarized as follows. The purpose of the proposed bylaw number Z-7 is to adopt a standalone Union Street Area Secondary Municipal Plan for the City of Fredericton, and be it resolved that bylaw number Z-7 to bylaw to adopt a Union Street Area Secondary Municipal Plan for the City of Fredericton be given third reading by title.
Well, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Millet. On the question. Being none, cast your vote, please.
It's carried unanimously.
Thank you. We'll move to 7.2, which is bylaw number Z8, residential town plat secondary plan. And Councillor McDermott, will you take that, please?
Thank you, Your Worship. Be it resolved that bylaw number Z8, a bylaw to adopt a residential town plat secondary municipal plan for the city of Fredericton, be read by summary pursuant to section 15 subsection 3 of the Local Governance Act.
Be seconded by Councillor Keenan. On the question. Being none, cast your vote, please.
Carried unanimously.
Carry on, Councillor.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton and pursuant to the authority vested in it by section 10 of the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017, Chapter 18, summarized as follows. The purpose of proposed bylaw number Z8 is to adopt a standalone residential town plat secondary municipal plan for the City of Fredericton. And be it resolved that bylaw number Z8, a bylaw to adopt a residential town plat secondary municipal plan for the City of Fredericton, be given third reading by title.
Be seconded by Councillor Keenan. On the question. Being none, please cast your vote.
Carried unanimously.
Okay. Item 7.3, bylaw number Z9, College Hill Secondary Plan. Councillor Chase. Maybe.
Councillor Chase, you're on mute.
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Thanks, Your Worship. Be it resolved, the bylaw number Z9, a bylaw to adopt a College Hill secondary municipal plan for the City of Fredericton, be read by summary pursuant to section 15, subsection 3 of the Local Governance Act.
Be seconded by Councillor Grandy. On the question. Being none, please cast your vote.
Kind of cool.
Councillor McDermott, can you cast your vote?
Yeah, got it. Sorry.
Carried unanimously.
All right. Carry on, Councillor Chase.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton and pursuant to the authority vested in it by section 10 of the Local Governance Acts, SNB 2017, Chapter 18, summarized as follows. The purpose of the proposed bylaw number Z9 is to adopt a standalone College Hill secondary municipal plan for the City of Fredericton. And be it resolved that the bylaw number Z9, a bylaw to adopt the College Hill secondary plan for the City of Fredericton, be given third reading by title.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Grandy. On the question. Being none, cast your vote, please.
Carried unanimously.
All right, we'll move on to item 7.4, bylaw number Z10, City Center Secondary Plan. Councillor Rogers.
Councillor Rogers, you're on mute.
Okay, I'll start again. Be it resolved that bylaw number Z-10, a bylaw to adopt a city center secondary municipal plan for the City of Fredericton, be read by summary pursuant to section 15(3) of the Local Governance Act.
Be seconded by Councillor Dara. On the question. Being none, cast your vote, please.
It's carried unanimously.
Thank you. Carry on, Councillor Rogers.
Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton and pursuant to the authority vested in it by section 10 of the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017, Chapter 18, summarized as follows. The purpose of proposed bylaw number Z-10 is to adopt a standalone city center secondary municipal plan for the city of Fredericton. And be it resolved that bylaw number Z-10, a bylaw to adopt a city center secondary municipal plan for the city of Fredericton, be given third reading by title.
Seconded by Councillor Dara. On the question. Being none, please cast your vote.
Carried unanimously.
All right, item 7.5, bylaw number Z11, Main Street Secondary Plan. Councillor Grande.
Thank you, Your Worship. Be it resolved that bylaw number Z-11, a bylaw to adopt a Main Street secondary municipal plan for the city of Fredericton, be read by summary pursuant to section 15, subsection 3 of the Local Governance Act.
Be seconded by the Deputy Mayor. On the question. Being none, cast your vote.
Carried unanimously.
Good. Carry on, Councillor Grande, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Whereas municipalities may make bylaws pursuant to the Local Governance Act, now therefore be it enacted by the Council of the City of Fredericton and pursuant to the authority vested in it by section 10 of the Local Governance Act, SNB 2017, Chapter 18, summarized as follows. The purpose of the proposed bylaw number Z-11 is to adopt a standalone Main Street secondary municipal plan for the City of Fredericton. And be it resolved that the bylaw number Z-11, a bylaw to adopt a Main Street secondary municipal plan for the city of Fredericton, be given third read by title. I so move, Your Worship.
Be seconded by the Deputy Mayor. On the question. No questions. Cast your vote, please.
It's carried unanimously, Your Worship.
Thank you. Somebody can send Councillor Price a note that he could rejoin us if he's still around. We'll give him 15 seconds and then we'll carry on.
I'm here.
You're here. Good. We wouldn't want to carry on without you. Item 6, public presentation of bylaw. City Clerk.
Thank you, Worship. At the regular City Council meeting held on April 27th, 2020, City Council adopted a resolution authorizing the preparation of a bylaw to amend the College Hill Secondary Municipal Plan with respect to property located at 770, 737 Beaverbrook Street and set this meeting as a date for the public presentation. The purpose of the proposed bylaw is to amend the College Hill Secondary Municipal Plan to exclude the subject properties from the boundary of the College Hill Planning Area, Policy Area C. I wish to advise the public that the proposed bylaw number Z9.1 is available for public perusal at the Office of the City Clerk in City Hall and on the City of Fredericton's website. Written objections may be submitted within the next 30 days.
Thank you, City Clerk. There's no resolution on this one, but there was a request, perhaps if Ken Forrest could give a brief explanation of the background on this item.
I can, Your Worship. What is taking place this evening is you are essentially just setting dates for consideration of an application that's been received by a developer for a 48-unit apartment development on Beaverbrook Street for consideration by the Planning Advisory Committee and after that City Council through the bylaw amendment process. So this is kind of the standard way that we consider amendments to our development bylaws in order to accommodate a specific development proposal when it isn't permitted by right by the planning documents. So this just essentially gets the process underway so that council and the Planning Advisory Committee will execute its normal process as time moves on.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Forrest? No. Item 9.1, we're going to have some updates from some of our senior staff on the City of Fredericton's COVID-19 plans and actions on how to assist business in the community and how to prepare for getting our city operations back to whatever our new normal is. And we'll begin with a presentation on from Mike Baldwin, the Director of Corporate Services, on return to operations and service levels. Mike.
Thank you, Your Worship. I do believe Adam's going to help me out here and move along a couple of slides I have for you tonight. Thanks, Adam. We'll go to the next one. Just a little bit of background. We've all been, I guess, at this for 7+ weeks now. But on the week of March 16th, as you know, the city moved to essential services only. EMO was engaged and the EOC was activated. Those essential services at that point in time included obviously our 911, public safety communication folks, police, fire, our roadway operations group. It was a modified transit service, as you know, at that time. Water and sewer remained in service. Service Fredericton and our essential internal services remain, purchasing, payroll, IT, and all those financial support services and payment. We also, throughout the week, that we continued to offer building inspection